Hello YouTube. So it's a beautiful day, and in this video I'm going to be answering some questions that I get in the comments, and this video is pretty much going to be specific to this Enduro e-bike that I'm riding. I'm probably going to do some more of these, you know, on the Onyx, and maybe even another one on this bike because I get so many questions. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the questions I get on these forks. You know, are these forks any good? How do they work off-road? A couple of statements like, you're crazy for using these hard off-road, and you're absolutely right. And, you know, the bottom line, these forks are trash. You know, these are these Zoom forks, and, you know, after a while they start doing this kind of thing. Let me see if I can get it on camera. You can see where they're locked up here. You can't even move them. Let me hit the brakes. They just compressed them, and now we'll gas it, and they'll just, you know, decompress or whatever. And yeah, you can clean them and maintenance them and get them working better, but they just start doing that again. So, you know, there's a reason why there's such a huge price gap between these forks and, say, Fox or RockShox. I mean, you get what you pay for, you know. But with all that being said, these forks are $150. If they're going to get you on the road to the point where, you know, you can at least start testing and start, you know, working the bugs out, get them. I mean, you know, just get them. And you can always upgrade later. You could probably even sell these for $75 when you're done with them. Okay, and then I get a lot of questions about, you know, where'd you get the controller? Where'd you get the motor? And I bought this all in a kit. And my recommendation would be this. I don't think I would go to eBay or AliExpress. I would go to Alibaba, because you're going to want to customize the kit. You're not going to just want to put what they have in the cart. So what you want to do is go to Alibaba's website and then search for 5,000 watt e-bike motor kit. Make sure it's this one with the UKC1 screen, because this thing's been working flawlessly. I mean, I'd highly recommend it. So once you find that, then what you're going to want to do is start an inquiry about that kit to the seller and say, please send me a price with this kit. Upgrade the controller, because they're going to give you a 72-100. You want the 72-150, the 150 amp controller, or you can go straight to the 200 if you want to. That's up to you. And then as far as the motor goes, you're going to want to go with, you know, you're going to choose what turns you want. So basically, do you want top end or do you want torque? I went with the 3.5 turn because I wanted top speed. And if you use a battery like mine with this setup, you should be somewhere around 65 miles an hour. If you want torque, like you're off-road all the time, or you're one of those guys that wheelies all over the place, you know, then probably look into the 5-turn. But just keep in mind, you're definitely gonna lose some top end. You'll probably be somewhere around 55 miles an hour. And then on to the most important thing, believe it or not, add the front wheel. Because if you don't do that, it's gonna be very expensive later. You know, for some reason, they want a lot of money for them, and then they want to charge you, you know, a bunch of money in shipping. And so make sure you add that. And I went with 19-inch motorcycle wheels. I wouldn't go with bicycle wheels. I feel like they're too weak. And then you're going to be dealing with bicycle tires, you know, and then you're going to be getting thorns in them and flats are kind of a pain to fix on this, you know, especially in the rear. These motorcycle tires, you're not going to get flats. I mean, you can run over thorns and whatever, you know. I've never gotten a flat other than the fact of doing something stupid. You know, I ripped out my valve stem in the rear wheel because I don't have a rim lock. And I was kind of holding in the brake lever, cutting the motor off, you know, and then gassing it and letting the brake lever off and launching it. And it eventually just ripped my valve stem out. But I should get a rim lock, by the way. And a couple of days later, you'll get an invoice back with the total price, including shipping. You know, if you're agreeable to that, go ahead and pay them by credit card or PayPal. And then, about a week later, you're going to get some pictures of the kit, of what they're going to send you. Review the pictures. If you're good with that, a couple of weeks later, you can get it. And then that's pretty much it. And if you get it from End Cycle Bike, the people that I got it from, they've already done the haul test. It's just plug and play. You don't have to mess with any settings or anything. Just go ahead and plug your battery in and go. Okay, and then I want to address another question that I get, about the motor. Should I upgrade to the 12,000 watt motor, the QS273? And my answer to that is no. I mean, for the most part, you're probably not going to get a battery more powerful enough to utilize that motor, and it's going to be heavy in the back. It's probably going to slow you down. Now, when they rate the wattage on these, like the 5,000 watt motor, that's a continuous rating. That doesn't mean you can't pump 15,000 watts through it in short periods of time. And you're never going to be pumping that much through it for long periods of time, because you're going to slow down for stoplights. You're going to be on 40-mile-an-hour streets. You're going to be on bike paths like this doing 20 miles an hour. I mean, so unless you're just like hardcore off-road climbing hills, you got the battery and the power to utilize that motor, then I would go ahead with it. Otherwise, just stay with the 5,000 watt QS205. Okay, and then I'm going to address another question, and this isn't from my comments, it's just a question from me. Will a 12,000 watt e-bike beat a Ninja 400 in a drag race? All right, let's find out. All right, let's try it from the light. I'll really try. Are you ready? You're going to destroy me, man.
Dude, it's pretty quick, man.
That thing's really quick.
Yeah. 400?
Huh? For a 4? Yep.
400?
Yeah. Are you ready? And the answer to that question is no, it will not. But I had to give it a try. Okay, and then I get a lot of questions about these brakes. Are they any good? How do you like them? And they've been working okay. As far as power wise here, they have enough power to lock up the rear wheel. So from a safety standpoint, they do have enough power to stop the bike. And they're cheap. I mean, they're $60. If you were going to choose these brakes, there's a couple of things. One, I wouldn't open up the line. I did that, tried to bleed them, and then never could get that right again. So I'd leave them the way they are. These lines are perfect length for this frame, and the wires are nice and short. They have the red ends on them that plug right into the harness that came with the kit. I mean, they're perfect in that sense. Of course, going with some Maguras, 4-piston calibers, you're not going to have to put as much pressure on these to stop, and of course they're going to be awesome, and but then they're $400, and it's kind of like the forks. I mean, do you want to spend, are these brakes going to get the build on the road, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And like the forks, if they are, then go ahead with them. You can always upgrade them later. Oh yeah, and there's one other thing that you're going to want to do. Change the brake pads if you go with these, because the brake pads that they come with are complete trash. So, and I'll put a link to those in the description. Okay, and the next question, my links are, well, not really a question, a statement. My links are broken, and I realize that. And can I fix them? Not really, because a lot of the places where I bought the parts from are gone. So I would be putting links to some random seller and some random part, and I just don't want to do that. I mean, you're going to be pretty much on your own in that sense. As far as the frame goes, just search for Enduro Ebike frame, and then you'll see a bunch of them come up. Now, I want to mention, this frame is the heaviest frame and the weakest one, and the price went crazy. I mean, it just about tripled. I've seen it for $500. I would not ever pay $500 for this frame. I would go with like an Enduro e-bike frame, from Enduro e-bikes, or go with, I like that hump. And then, or go with, go with an Elite, or even Vector, you know, one of those. I would never pay 500 bucks for this frame. But yeah, so and then it affects the other links too, because the links I have for the parts were about this, were for this frame. And so anyway, that's pretty much the issue on that. Okay, and the next question I get, this is more of a general question for all e-bikes, and that's, is it legal? Do I need insurance? Do I need a license? And, I can't really answer that, because it's different in different areas. I mean, here in California, this could be considered a class 3 e-bike, as long as it's limited to 28 miles an hour. And you could do that simply by putting it in like mode. Let's see, how fast does it go in mode 1? Mode 1. Yeah, there you go. So you can put it in mode 1 and boom, it's regulated to 28 miles an hour. And for that, you won't need any insurance, you won't need registration or a license, but you do have to be over, I believe it's 16, and wear a helmet, and that's pretty much it. So check your local laws. All right, that's a wrap. I hope you found it interesting, and I hope it helps you with your build. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them down there in the comments, and that'll just end up, creating another one of these videos. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next video.